Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel to possibly the most eagerly anticipated preview I have had the pleasure of doing. It is the Group B World Cup group between England, Iran, USA, and Wales. And I've decided to have a very, very special panel this evening. We have from, obviously, England, we have the man I like to basically call the king of dad's jokes, Mr. Chris Forian from Leicester Till I Die. How are you, sir?
I am very well, son. How are you?
I am not bad. I am not too bad as well. We've also got Mr. Daniel Moorhouse from Turf Moorhouse, who is looking ahead to a very, very big weekend for his beloved Burnley. How are you, Dan?
Fighting fit and ready to go.
I would imagine. And from the US, well, we can see from his name that he is Gregg Berhalter, also known as Michael Talks Football. How are you, Mike?
Howdy, y'all. Hopefully you're all doing well.
and we do have a debutant on the channel as well. I don't think I've had you on the channel before, but we have Mr. Arpon Diaz, ED744. How are you, mate?
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Hello, Sebastian. Hello, Shane. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Hella. And good evening, Matt, as well. Yes, guys, get your prediction for this group in the chat, and we'll obviously speak about. But there's only one place to start, and obviously, England, not in the best of form going into this World Cup. No wins in 7. Chris, how are you feeling about England's chances at this World Cup?
The same as I feel most times about England's chances at any competition. We'll probably just about sneak through the group, win the next game, and then get knocked out. But yeah, you know what? We're not in the best of form, and that might not be a bad thing, because with England, especially with our media, we build ourselves up that we're going to win it. Football's coming home, 3 Lions, and then 10 times out of 10, we fail. So actually going in, maybe wondering, how we will do, won't be a bad thing.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, Dan, I suppose in a way you would obviously like to be, going into a World Cup with a good record behind you, but maybe there's a sense of maybe we can basically do well at this World Cup.
Yeah, sort of. It's sort of like, can we go in there with an underdog tag? And I know that sounds really strange when it comes to national football, but with the way we've been playing recently, who's to say that everyone's going to be looking at it and thinking, right, well, England are out of sorts. We can just turn up and not even have to be strong, really, because we could still get something out of the game. For me, though, I'm not overly confident about this tournament for England. I think it's just a free holiday for half of the squad, to be honest. And I mean, as much as I'm looking forward to it, in terms of obviously another chance to bring football home, something doesn't sit right with me with England at this moment, whether that be Southgate, whether that be confidence. But we shall see. We shall see. I like the fact that we're going into it with an underdog tag.
Some breaking news about Southgate. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Apparently, he's already named his squad and he's going for the women's team.
Oh, right. Trust you, Mr. Foyne. I mean, Michael, obviously looking from an outside point of view, England have not been great, have they?
Where's all the English arrogance? Where is it? I mean, I don't blame them, to be honest. England have looked terrible.
Americans, that's all right.
Yeah, we'll leave it to the Americans. We got the loud mouths anyway. Look, England were terrible in the Nations League. I mean, absolutely abysmal. I mean, they only scored 1 goal before Germany, and that's because it was a penalty. Other than that, tactically, terrible. Attacking-wise, terrible. They still got a fridge in defense. So, yes, you don't have confidence, but if you look at the bracket, if England win their group, they have a fantastic path to get to the final. So,
Yeah.
It might look down and bad and gloomy at the moment, but trust me, when England start going and they win that round of 16, if they win on penalties, you're going to hear it all the time. And I'm not even going to say the chant because you know what I'm talking about, Doug. So let's see what happens for England.
Yeah, I mean, Arpa, what have you made of England as a sort of an outsider, like watching in, obviously, the Nations League?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much had the same pretty much agree with Michael, is that they've looked really bad in the Nations League, like particularly attacking wise. Like my issue with England is I feel as though they're relying on Kane to do so much for them, and I just don't really feel like you can't expect, because at times like it feels like Kane has to like drop deep to be a playmaker, and you expect him to score goals, and it's very difficult for him to do both. And the other players like Rashford, Sancho, and the other wingers have really been poor, Mount, etc. And I feel as though there's also another problem. I feel like Southgate is using too much. He doesn't try new things out. He's being stubborn, using the same things again and again. Oh, sorry. What do you want to say, Doug?
No. Keep going.
Okay, my bad. But now I will say this, though. I think the World Cup group is significantly easier to the Nations League group they had. So I don't think it'll be as difficult. But, I don't think England will waltz through this group. I don't think England will, like, destroy every team in this group, per se.
Interesting. I mean, there are a few comments here. Matt's gone for England 1, Iran 2, Wales 3, and USA 4. Patrick says England will not get 9 points in this group. Shane says England, Wales, Iran, USA. England was shocking last time. I watched them. I still think they'll make it out of the group. And Matt says, my message to everyone about England is expect to do something they've never done before. I'll list my examples. Well, I actually do have something to discuss with the England boys, and especially with Mr. Chris Forian, because this...
Run, Chris!
This, right? James Maddison.
Yes.
I have to say that if I was I'm not obviously Gareth Southgate, but for me, James Maddison should be making that England squad.
Doug, wait, can I say one thing? Look who's at the bottom of that list. A guy who is 100 million pounds in a Gucci merchant.
Yep, Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish, indeed. How's your season going? Oh, yeah, Almiron is... he's doing well, right? Yeah, he's doing very well. I can basically say out of this that, Chris, James Maddison has been outperforming all these players this season.
Yes. Is the answer to that. I mean, look, excuse me. We all support clubs. And I think I said this, well, I did say this the other day. And I know that if Brendan Rodgers picks a player that I'm not keen on, I'll have a go with him and he'll upset a certain percentage of the Leicester fan base. As England manager, you're upsetting 30, 40 clubs fan bases when, you've only got 11. And in a way, I get the fact that he will pick his formation and he will pick the players that he thinks will perform best for him. I don't know what it is with James Maddison. He was picked that once before. He was sent home supposedly because he was ill. We then had Casino Gate when he went out to a casino.
Yeah.
I didn't see the problem with that. He wasn't going out, strip club or partying or anything like that. There's players that have done a lot worse and still been in the team. But I think sometimes managers just don't like players. And, if you're going on, like you say, form and figures, there's no way he can't be in that team. But he likes Jack Grealish. I mean, Jack Grealish, if you want somebody to go in and tell you about the grass because he's always down there, then Jack Grealish is the man for you. but how, excuse me, how can you not? And I'm not saying this as a Leicester fan, because a little bit of me thinks, well, if Maddison doesn't go, A, he's not going to get injured, and B, he's not going to sort of maybe get scouted by a bigger club. So a little bit of me, but how can you not take him? How can you not take? And what pees me off, and I've been one of Southgate's biggest sort of, shouting out for him. when he started, he said, "I am picking players on form.
On
I
form.
don't care what club they play for. If they're on form, if they're not in a team, they won't get picked. If they're not on form, they won't get picked." And he did for a little bit. Well, fucking hell, now he just sticks to the ones that, his favourites. Who, in fairness, you can't argue, got him to a final, got us to a semi-final of the last World Cup. But how's that going at the moment, Gareth?
Yeah, I mean, Dan, if I look at this again, right, because I have to say that this is very, very interesting. I don't think Jadon Sancho goes. I don't think he's going to be in the squads. I don't think Gallagher's going to. I don't think Gallagher's going to be in the squad. Bowen, I don't think is going to be in the squad. Does Maddison get in for you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He's the most informed, consistent player in the Premier League in the moment in terms of what he's doing. It's not just that. We're looking at stats here for most goal involvements. If you're looking for any creativity in the middle of the park, then James Maddison's the man to go to. Like Chris alluded to, you've got to pick players in form. Now, I could blow my own trumpet and sit here. Yes, I'm a Burnley fan. Bar humbug, championship fodder, whatever you want to call us, right? But, we had players like Nick Pope and Tarkowski banging form, didn't even get a sniff. But now they're at Everton and Newcastle. It's oh my God, look at how great they are. It's like we knew how great they were back when they were wearing claret and blue.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those sort of players need to be in the mix. If they do, I'm sure Pope will anyway. But for me, I just think it does go back to what Chris said. Southgate said he's going to pick these players based on their performance and their performance levels, consistency. The stats don't lie at the end of the day. Yeah. So to still, as Mark said, go in there with a fridge at the back and still have sort of everything, it's just pants, absolute pants sometimes. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Chris said it though. Chris said it. You're gonna piss off a lot of fan bases. But that said, if people are actually wise enough and they listen up to the fact that Southgate said, I'm going to pick people that are in form, then nobody can bat an eyelid about it, really.
Can I just say what Gary Lineker said? I think it was Gary Lineker on Match of the Day. Is
your best mate?
My best mate, yeah. Should Maddison be going? It should Maddison be in the starting 11.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you've got ex-pros saying that, and you got, Alan Shearer is building him up, I just don't know what. But we don't like creative players for England, do we? You look down the history, how many times have we not, or have we underused creative players? Again, but yeah, he should. But not often I agree with Gary Lineker, but yeah, he should not just be in the squad. He should be in the starting 11.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, what do you think about the James Maddison sort of debate?
Well, I think that's the least of Southgate's concerns, to be honest. And if Maddison does go, he can be a good impact sub, but I don't see him starting because Gareth will play 5-2-3 or whatever sort of formation, anything to protect the fridge. That's what the tactics are. Anything to protect the fridge. And I like Maddison, very good creative player. Does he have the defensive work to come back and defend? Not so much. And I see him just starting Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham in the midfield. And then the front three, I'd probably say would be Foden, obviously Kane, and I don't know who the third guy's going to be. Maybe Saka.
That's the thing as well, though. You've got people who aren't really in form. You've got the likes of Calvin Phillips, who's been out, who's not even getting a sniff at Man City. Jack Grealish is getting the odd 10 minutes at the end of a game. But yet he'll go to a World Cup and all of a sudden he'll put in 2 good performances. And it's like, oh my God, look at this world beater that, like you said, spends half his time on his arse. It's mad. That's the frustrating thing about England, that we sort of expect more and always receive less. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's a fickle thing from a fan perspective or whether it's too much hope on and eyes on one nation. I don't know what to put my finger on with it.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting selection on Thursday, because I've already seen potentially that it looks potentially like Ivan Toney, despite the rumours of, obviously this investigation, which I think is ridiculous anyway. I think it was happened when he was at Peterborough and all this nonsense anyway. I've heard that apparently Ivan Toney looks like he's expected to be named in Gareth Southgate's squad. So, looking at it that way, Ivan Toney's going to go. So surely James Maddison should go, because he is on form. What do you think, Harpon, about James Maddison?
Yeah, he's a great player. And the problem is that obviously England, as you guys mentioned, there's no creative midfielders. Is just that. I personally think he should be called up. I don't know if I don't know if he should start though, just because the fact I don't know if he will start just because I think Southgate has already got his players in mind already. But he should definitely get called up, in my opinion. I don't think there should be a debate about that.
Yeah, definitely. But I'll just go through the comments. I've just seen something that is irrelevant to the whole thing.
Ignore it, dog. Ignore it.
Yeah, in 2018, Matt says they won their first penalty shootout at World. In 2021, they had never won an Open in the Euros, and they never got to a final. They did both in Euro 2020. Hella says Grealish will be picked, no matter how crap he is. Got dirt on Southgate for sure. I would agree with that. James Maddison, how many of those are against bottom six dudders like pre-Saudi Newcastle and Norwich? Plus, Maddison has the same defensive impact as a traffic cone. Add to the fact that Bellingham has to do the running of two men for Rice. See both games versus Hungary and Italy, and he can't surely do the work of three when matters. Same old myopic nonsense, two sides of the game. Shane says Southgate is a clown. Ballon and Circus were far too stubborn, which eventually cost his job. England will be a car crash. 80 says, like the stream people. I don't have England as high in their chances early in the year. The only takeaways I have from June is that some of those players shouldn't be playing, and England may struggle in tight schedules. I agree with that. Hello, Albert. Thank you for tuning in. I wouldn't start Maddison because it's been over a year since he last played for England. I hope Ashley Young gets a goal. I do not see that. Not a chance Ashley Young gets a call up. No way. In the midfield four has got to be Trippier, Bellingham, Rice and Shaw. Not that he's an ideal option. Okay. Same old delusions of grandeur. Maybe there's desperation. But we'll obviously wait and see. But we will obviously speak about Iran because, Mike, Carlos Queiroz is back.
He's back. And he wants to do one better than last time. Iran have never made it out of the group stage. I think it might change this year. And that's just because of Queiroz. If they still had Skokic as manager, yes, they were doing well, going by AFC World Cup qualifiers as they always do. But Queiroz, the guy just knows how to deal with international tournaments. Knows how to set up his team. Don't concede a lot of goals. And then when you got the brilliance of Taremi. Now, the problem is Osman, who obviously is the Bayer Leverkusen striker, he's still not back healthy. So that, if he misses the World Cup, that's going to be a big, big miss. And then you look at the likes of Jahan Bash, Gurus, and these sort of players. Look, Iran have a very quality team. And Queiroz, they're going to play defensive football. That's just the style. Concede 0, score 1, and that's how they're going to do it. So I'm very excited for Iran. I hope they do well because obviously everything that's going on in the country, I think that will kind of galvanize the players, or it could be to their detriment. But Queiroz is that manager. And he's probably, actually, you could say the best manager in this group, which is crazy enough to say, but he might actually be the best manager.
Could potentially be. I mean, Chris, we've obviously seen what Carlos Queiroz can do, because the last team he obviously managed was Egypt, and they got to the AFCON final. Yeah, but it's like saying if you put Pep Guardiola in charge of Rochdale, they're going to win the FA Cup. You know, however good a manager is, he can only play with what he's got. Now, Iran, they've been in 6 finals, bless them. As long as they don't start a third world war when they play America, I think we'll all be safe. They're there. I'm sorry, Iran are there to make the numbers up. They'll be in the bottom 2. And yeah, I can't see them. Yeah, as I say, I don't care who's the manager. The players are there. Well done to them, but yeah, they're not gonna do anything in this World Cup. I mean, there are some notable players, obviously, Dan, who obviously Mike mentioned. Obviously, Yakin Bash. I think people forget, obviously, Brighton players scored a magnificent overhead kick against against Chelsea. And actually, Mehdi Taremi also scored an overhead kick against Chelsea as well. This is a very, very up-and-coming side, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I think, I dare say it, but I think Chris may be a bit foolish to underestimate Iran. I do think that, in fact, I dare say it, I fancy Iran's chances more than England.
Wow.
I dare say it.
Really?
You was talking about bold predictions earlier. You've got one there. I fancy Iran's chances. I mean, it's like Mark said, they set up defensively. They'll, and it goes back to what Chris said, stick pepper at Rochdale will win the FA Cup. But would it? I mean, we've had to do it when we had Sean Dash. We had to set up defensively. We'd beat the bigger teams 1-0 here and there. You were a sucker for it yourself when we were the first team at Anfield. Sorry to bring it up again, but, hey-ho. But, it's just, you can never... They're the sides that you struggle against because you expect teams to open up against you and come out thinking, oh, well, if we can get a win against these sides, if they stay resilient, then they can be dangerous and hurt the rest of the teams in this group. So I've got faith that Iran may do pretty well. Don't underestimate them. Do not underestimate them.
Bottom of the group.
Yeah, Arpon, how do you fancy Iran's chances?
Yeah, in my personal opinion, I think they have the best hopes for Asia in this World Cup because I'm looking at other nations and the only close one is probably Japan, and they're in a really difficult group. I know Japan could maybe do it, but I just feel like for me, Iran have the best chance, and I feel like they're the best nation in Asia right now, in my opinion, as well. I think they're a very underrated team. And we saw what they did in the last World Cup. They were very close to knocking Spain and Portugal out. They gave very good games against them. And I know they finished third. And I think if they had I think they scored a disallowed goal right at the end, but against Portugal, I believe. And I just feel like for me, they're a very good team, and I feel like people shouldn't underestimate them. And they also have, as Michael said, they probably have the best manager of this group because other managers, man, there's a lot of criticism for the other managers, with Berhalter and Southgate. So
as you said, as Dan said, I think it is a very, very interesting group because you've got USA, who are obviously we will get on to very, very shortly. Wales are their first World Cup since 1958, so it's been a long, long time since they were in the World Cup. But as you said, Iran nearly got some good results against Spain. They nearly got some good results against Portugal. So I think everyone's going to have to be a lot wary of this.
I nearly went out with Cameron Diaz, but it didn't happen. But at the end of the day, they nearly did this, they nearly did that. Where did they finish? Third, so
yeah.
Sorry, Doug, I can't wait. If Iran beat England on the first match day, I'm going to laugh my ass off. If they win 1-0 with a long throw that they did last time in the World Cup, I will laugh my ass off because look, they might not have the sexiest names, and you don't know these players who play at Persepolis or these sort of teams in Iran, but they're a very good organized team, and that's what you need in international football. You don't need flashiness, right? Leave that to Brazil and do jogo bonito. If you have an organized team and you have a striker like Taremi, that's all you need.
Yeah, 100%. Good evening, Sport Cat. Hope you're good. Southgate playing so many right backs and now they're all injured. Laughing emoji. Sebastian says USC England battle the PE teachers. Sterling's form doesn't deserve a place in the starting 11. Albert says any average international side with a solid manager can do great things and cause surprises. Iran sort of remind me of 2018 Peru. Look out for them. Oh, we shall indeed. Look at Quieroz' CV and compare the others. Academies aside, they have combined experience of Hamarby, Columbus Crew, Middlesbrough, Port Vale, and Northampton. That's true. That is actually very, very true. Hello, Jordan. Hello, the Lego Dude FC. Sportcat, Iran are not going to be excluded. And actually, I've just seen as well, Ecuador are not being excluded either, with about 2 weeks to go, which I think
we're still going with that, dog. Really, Chile.
Yeah, exactly. Iran have a solid base in Taremi and Usman. Oh yeah, Usman up front. Of the rest, I think they have the best goal threat. Berhalter was a garbage when he coached in Sweden. Well, we are coming on to the USA. Now, I have actually said there, are you guys planning for 2026? Has this World Cup come too soon for you guys? What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I guess. I don't really know. There's a lot of good young players. Like, honestly, if you look at this USA team, they have talent. And there are a lot of youngsters who are hungry to prove themselves in the world of football. And when they get to 2026, because that's the ultimate plan. I mean, the whole idea with the US Federation is we're going to do very well at the 2026 World Cup. We want to compete. We want to win that tournament. But you see my name? The manager is a clueless PE teacher. That's what he is. Like, we got guys like Pulisic, we got Serginho Dest, Anthony Robertson, Joe Scally. I mean, we have so many good young players, and there's even more coming from America and going back to Europe. I mean, the amount of talent we are producing is ridiculous, but we just don't have the good philosophy within the national team. Because our manager, he picks favorites, and he will not change that way. So that's what I'm worried about. But yes, of course, we're planning for 2026 because football is, I guess, coming home. Let's say it that way, because we did host a pretty good World Cup in 1994 and everybody loved it. So why not again in 2026?
Yeah, I was only 2 in 1994, so I don't really remember that.
I wasn't even born.
I keep seeing the images of Diana Ross missing a penalty. That's the only thing I can remember from 1994, and obviously
she's in the squad this time, isn't she?
What's that?
She's in the squad this time.
But no. I mean, why has it gone so wrong for Berhalter? Is it just his tactics? Is it his philosophy? What's happened?
How long do you got?
Uh-oh.
Me and AD have talked for about, I think, 40 minutes before on Gregg Berhalter. Like this, I don't understand. His in-game tactics sometimes are great. Then other times he's taking selfies in the 80th minute with his stupid Jordans on. So I don't understand this manager. He has the arrogance, but he's been relegated in Sweden. He hasn't done anything with Columbus Crew. The only reason why he got this job is because his brother is one of the higher-ranked people in the U.S. Federation. That's the only reason why he got this job. It's not based on his resume. It's just based on him having connections, which maybe you do need in today's society. I think tactically, he doesn't set up well. He doesn't set up well for opponents. He just keeps going with the same way. He's going to keep playing Walker Zimmerman, Aaron Long, and think, oh, these guys can play out of the back. No, they give the ball away 20 times against Japan in the first half. So I don't get it. He is stubborn. He won't change his ways. He doesn't really, I don't think he has a proper tactical setup to each opponent. He just thinks, okay, we're big bad USA. We missed the last World Cup. We can go at any opponent. They're just going to fold under the pressure. If you look at our away performances, we won one game away. And that's because Honduras are absolute garbage. That's the only reason why. So I'm very worried. And he loves this word. You know what his favorite word in the dictionary is? Verticality.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Exactly.
Yeah, Arpon, I believe you've had some rants in the past about Berhalter. How are you actually feeling going into this World Cup?
Yeah, I'm pretty much what Michael said is I pretty much 100% agree with that. Like everything you said is spot on. And it's crazy because I just feel like as though Berhalter just doesn't really know what he's doing, and I feel like he's trying to emulate what Man City is trying to do. Like, you know how they play out the back? He's trying to do that way, and like we're never going to be like Man City. Like Man City is so much better. Like I feel like he's trying to make us be like that, which I don't really like. You know, it's not very good. There's no identity with the team. There's no structure, and there's no like team cohesion whatsoever. And we're just relying on individual players. You know, and I'm just not really hopeful for this World Cup in particular. I will say this, though. The one slight bit of hope I do have is that USA has done well in group of deaths in the past in 2014. Like, remember when I think it was Portugal, Germany, and Ghana? A lot of people probably said at the time, USA were going to get grouped. And we all know what USA did. They knocked out both Ghana. They eliminated, they tied with Portugal, and I think they beat Ghana. So, and they only lost 1-0 to Germany. So maybe that will give me some hope. But other than that, I really don't have much hope.
Doug, can you bring up my photo that I shared with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
look at this team, right? Look at the quality of players. Matt Turner, I think he's a pretty decent goalkeeper. I think everybody agrees. I hope it's not Zach Steffen, by the way. I think he's an error that will happen any moment. Serginho Dest, Anthony Robertson, like these guys have talent. Yes, Serginho Dest isn't the greatest defender, but these players are perfect. Joe Scally, young player. I would honestly, if I see Aaron Long, who plays for the New York Red Bulls, start, I'm not even going to turn on my TV against Wales because the guy isn't. He's our fridge. He's the American fridge, and I am worried about that. Then if you look, I think the USA have a very good midfield. Weston McKennie, Yunus Musa, Tyler Adams. There's quality. I'm just worried about striker because I love Ricardo Pepi, but when it comes to the U.S. national team, he just doesn't perform. And oh yeah, we have a striker at Union Berlin called Jordan Pifak. What does he do? He doesn't even get called up for the national team.
Oh no!
Instead, we have to call up Jesus Ferreira, who's a perfect false nine that Gregg Berhalter loves. You know, he loves his false nine, this sort of crap that he talks about. Jesus Ferreira can't score from 5 yards out against Japan. So, but if you, I mean, like, you know, Dan and Chris, they can see this team. I think they would say it's a talented team. Yes, you know, we don't have I would say a superstar compared to England and other national teams, but we have a lot of quality players who are hungry. And I think Giovanni Reina might be actually our best player.
Yeah, he's a class player, is Reina. Absolutely class. Massively underrated in that Dortmund team as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose, Chris, as well, it's sort of a big tournament for Christian Pulisic, who's kind of lost his way at Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, I've just changed my mind 100% on America because I'd actually got them. I could see them going through. Look, it's not all about having superstars in your team. You know, when we won the Premier League, we were, free transfers, Manchester United rejects. It's all about coming together at the time. And I think America, I've got a sneaky feeling because I think nobody in this group is, I mean, I know you guys liked Iran, but there's nobody in this group, including England, that really do excite me. And I think I've got a sneaky feeling. I don't know how far they can go, but I can see USA sneaking out the group.
Interesting. Dan, what do you think about USA?
Yeah, I think they've got some really attack-minded players there. I mean, you look at the way Josh Sargent's played for Norwich this season. He's been pretty solid. Running off the shoulder of, he's got Pookie knocking the ball forward for him. Getting him behind the last defender. So he's one that you have to watch out for. Timothy Weah again, or Weah, however you want to say it, has got talent. It's just about, for me, I don't think he's come on as much in the last couple of years. He sort of his name got bandied about, and then I don't know whether it was a bit of media heart with him, but we'll see. I mean, Tyler Adams. Yes, I think he's only just come into Leeds this season. He's another exciting player that on the national stage, can do all right. But you've got Weston McKennie in there, decent. Aronson, Reina. The midfield is where it's strong, and it's like Mark said, you've got to have somebody that can kill off that move. If your midfield can get it forward and play beautiful football, you need somebody up top that can just kill off that forward pass, that forward move. Playing that false nine and not having the belief in the manager can sometimes bite you in the backside.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, some of those players there are obviously, European-based. Obviously, Matt Turner, Zach Steffen. Yes, I know Zach Steffen's not having the best of times at Middlesbrough at the moment. Cameron Carter-Vickers is a very good defender for Celtic. I know, obviously, they've been hammered in the, in the Champions League, but, Carter-Vickers is a very, very good defender. DeAndre Yedlin, I forgot he was still playing. To be honest, I thought he was one of those ones.
He still gets called up, dog. I don't get it.
I remember him in Newcastle. Like everyone said that he was going to be very, very good. Newcastle just didn't happen for him. Tim Reams having a good season with Fulham. What has happened to Ricardo Pepi though? Because I remember when he made that move to the Bundesliga, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be fantastic." but he's lost his way. And is he now out on loan?
He's out on loan in Groningen in the Eredivisie. To be fair, though, he has scored 8 goals in 10 appearances this season, so he's actually having a very good season with Groningen. I just think the move was too early for him to Augsburg.
Yeah, I mean, Arpon, are you excited with this squad or not really?
Yeah, I mean, Michael, as Michael said, I think the squad is very talented. We have a lot of great players, a lot of players that have high potential. It's just the problem is the selection for me personally with Berhalter. He's gonna pick like Aaron Long probably to start. He's probably gonna pick Jesus Ferreira, and these players shouldn't be starting. That's the thing. So yeah, hopefully we prove people wrong at the World Cup. But
80, if we start Zimmerman and Aaron Long as two center backs against Wales with Gareth Bale, yeah, we're gonna get destroyed.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
We're gonna make Dan James look like prime Messi in that game.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible, man. So.
Has this actually been?
Don't forget that America have got an amazing set piece coach.
Oh yeah, the Leicester dude.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Maybe he should be manager.
Honestly, if we had Jesse Marsh as manager, I would be so hyped for this World Cup.
Same.
Yeah,
he would be perfect for this team. Very energetic team. Yes, maybe defensively we're going to be very exposed to the back, but Jesse Marsh would have these players actually have a tactical plan. Now we're just vibes. That's why I call him Gregg Vibes Berhalter. We're just vibes out there. We have no idea what we're doing attacking wise at times.
Yeah. Has this squad been announced then, or is that?
No, this is kind of like a sort of predictor in a way. This is
like
according to rumors. Yeah,
this is like the expected squad. I think tomorrow will be the real squad.
Oh, is it tomorrow? I guess announced. I've seen that obviously England gets announced on Thursday. I think Wales gets announced tomorrow, as well. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting picks. So, I might actually screenshot that and see actually how many are actually in that squad. As well, because I have to say, like, Tyler Adams and Brendan Aronson are having a very good season at Leeds. I know they've been, I know Leeds have been a bit hit and miss, but Aronson has been, spectacular as well. But I think as well, I still think this is a big tournament for Christian Pulisic because he has just lost his way at Chelsea, and I think he could do with a move very, very soon.
I agree, but Pulisic, he is one of the only guys who was at that last World Cup qualifying campaign.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? We only have one player from the last time we qualified to the World Cup, 2014. Do you know who that was? DeAndre Yedlin. So this team is very inexperienced and is basically just a bunch of youngsters. So I'm hopeful, but I have no confidence. I think we're going to finish bottom.
Yeah, same.
Ooh,
the same with
Wow. Right. Yeah. I am going to go up through the comments because I have missed a lot of comments. But Albert says, Sebastian says Berhalter was garbage when he coached in Sweden. Matt says on the 25th, imagine the fashion difference on the sidelines: the tailor versus the PE teacher. Tim Weah is going to go off. He has Ballon d'Or DNA. USA should go for Gareca.
Ricardo Gareca, the Peru manager, former Peru manager.
Bluebird Legend, good evening. I know you're obviously on the way to Cardiff against Hull. Roberto Baggio, he missed a penalty, didn't he, against Brazil in that final. Albert says, don't you guys know, Berhalter said they're approaching this World Cup with the idea that they're playing to win it all. Yeah. Well, what I will say to that is keep dreaming. I'm joking, of course. Against England, I'm predicting a 3-2 loss, but a Pulisic worldie. Greg, I have a system. Berhalter. Vibes aspects include the skills on the touchline and bounce passes to his players. USA should be calling up Brooks, Carter, Vickers, Richards, even Chelsea legend Mayazga. Oh, crikey. Yeah. Yes, he got
for Chelsea. Him.
No, he plays, I think, in Cincinnati now. Yeah.
Oh wow, that was quite a short-term move then to go to Chelsea. Berhalter will be more focused on what sneakers he's going to wear in the first match. Matt says I'm going to be at England against Iran and England against USA. Wow, Matt. You're actually going out to the tournament. So fair play, mate. Fair play. Enjoy. Garika's perfect. Where's Ballon d'Or DNA? Sebastian says, I want to see Finland, USA. I think obviously with Mike living in Finland, I don't know. You'd be a bit split opinion that one. I would say.
Well, I win either way then.
Yeah. Yedlin is the old guard. We don't need him anymore. Mike and Edie should where start?
I would say so personally.
Yeah,
Because
I guess so.
I mean, the alternatives are not that good, so I would personally start him.
I honestly think that Brendan Aronson's going to start on the bench, which is crazy.
That would be mental if he did, because I think
he most likely will, because I know Greg is going to go with Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, and Yunus Musa as the three in the midfield, and Pulisic on the left, Pauly Timothy on the right, and then Ricardo Pepi up top. So there's no room for Giovanni Reina and Brendan Aronson, which is crazy. That just shows you how talented this team is, but goes back to the manager.
Reina might start over Musa.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Sergeant or P-Folk need to start. Whatever happened to Daryl Dike?
Daryl Dike.
Striker.
Yeah, he's just come back from injury, hasn't he?
Yep.
So I think it might be a little bit too early for him.
Too early. So maybe 2026 then, hopefully. Good evening, lads. Watching from the car, says Nathan. Hope you're good, Nathan. And obviously good luck to Cardiff this evening. Fun fact, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. can play for the USA if he wants in the future. And Ronaldo's son can play for the USA in the future. Well, there we go indeed. So, obviously, we do have some Welshmen in the chat. And it is obviously Wales. And will we see Bale producing some more magic?
Doug, sorry to interrupt. I want to say this one thing about set pieces. I think that might actually be the saving grace for USA, because USA is actually generally good when it comes to set pieces. So we might be able to score some headers, that kind of thing. So like that, that's probably the only hope I have, for at least for goals.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Chris, Wales' first tournament since 1958. It has been a long,
haven't they?
It has been a long time since they were at the World Cup. Lots of people are saying this is Bale's last hurrah for Wales, considering I think he'll be 38? I think next year at some point. Anyway,
he can retire, I think, afterwards, isn't he?
I think so. How far do you see Wales going in this tournament?
Enjoy the 3 games, lads. That's all you're getting. I mean, the thing with Wales is they're there, but they're lucky to be there. Bale, this fantastic player that scored by going off somebody's bum into the goal. I mean, that's the only reason that they're actually at the World Cup. And no team is a one-man team, but this is as close as you can get to that. Because if Bale doesn't perform, Wales don't perform. And, we've probably got the goalkeeper in that team with Danny Ward. But I'm sorry, like I say, enjoy the 3 games, lads. You're coming home early. They could borrow your song, Doug, Don't Come Home Too Soon, because they will be doing. And like I say, if Bale doesn't turn up, they can't just get through tournaments on free kicks taken by Gareth Bale. Take that out the armoury, and they've not really got an awful lot else.
It's interesting. It is very, very interesting. I mean, Dan, I am actually looking at, sort of Wales, and we all thought when they were obviously going through, qualifying, we all thought when they knew they were going through sort of qualifying that it was either going to be Ryan Giggs or going to be Rob Page. Thankfully, they've now not got that distraction right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what perception you want on this. Do you want Dan's answer, or do you want the John Hartson Welsh lookalike? I mean, which do you want from this? To be honest, I think their best chances now to do anything in terms of be successful in the World Cup. They've been quite successful under Rob Page. The glass has just fallen at my glasses. It's all happening now. But it's right what Chris said. Their hopes hang on Gareth Bale most of the time. A bit like Southampton hang on a prayer with James Ward-Prowse season in, season out. The thing is with Wales, being it their first time back in a long time, they're not just going to come and make the numbers up. I don't feel like they're going to come here and just go, oh, yeah, we're going to wallow in self-pity. We should just be happy that we're here. Nah, I can't see it. I think there'll be a few players in there with a point to prove. And again, we can all sit there and say that Gareth Bale this, one song that, but you know, the way Rob Page has got them playing at the moment, I expect the unexpected, similar with Iran. This is, you know what? People may say that this group is quite wide, or it should be a walk in the park for England. A lot of people would have said that originally if we would have been the informed team. But we're not. This group is so wide open. I think anybody could qualify, and there could be a few twists and turns in this group. It's going to be really, really interesting, and we don't have much longer to wait now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Mike, they've got some very good up-and-coming players coming through. Obviously, Neco Williams, who we obviously know from Liverpool days. The other man who I think is going to have a very, very good turn is Brennan Johnson.
Yep, I agree. Joe Rodon as well. He's had a fantastic season with Stade Rennes in the Ligue 1. So, I think Wales are perfectly set up in this group because they're not a team that need a lot of possession, but they have players who can hurt on the counter-attack. And you saw that against Ukraine. You saw that against Austria. They don't need much of the ball, but when they have the ball, they will be very dangerous. And yes,
they did nothing with it against Ukraine.
Huh?
They did nothing with it against Ukraine.
They didn't have to, though. They got the one goal, and that's enough. That just shows you that this team are defensively solid. And obviously, Hennessy had to make some great saves in that matchup as well, and he's probably going to be starting instead of Danny Ward. I don't even know if that... Actually, to be fair, though, Danny Ward has been a better goalkeeper nowadays compared to what he was at the beginning of the season. But I honestly think that Wales can cause trouble in this group. I think it's between them and Iran for second place. And that's why the second match day between the two teams, I think that will be the six-pointer, shall we say, in this group, that who will get second place. And look, Gareth Bale has been terrible with LAFC. And then what does he do over the weekend? He comes up with the clutchest goal, probably in MLS history, 128th minute. This guy has barely played, doesn't even care, scores the winning goal. Scores the equalizer, and then they win the MLS Cup. So just shows you, when you have... No team in this group has a player like Gareth Bale. I'm sorry. Nobody has a team. No team has a player like Gareth Bale. Yes, England has Harry Kane, and yes, Iran have Taremi, and the USA, I don't know who's going to step up for them, but Gareth Bale is just Mr. Clutch, and he shows up in the biggest moments. Even when he's not fit, even when he hasn't played 90 minutes, like he did against Austria, barely played for Real. What does he do? Scores 2 incredible goals. So, also, you got Dan James, who I absolutely hate. I think he's just a roadrunner of a footballer. But when he comes to play for Wales, he turns out pretty well. So they have a lot of good, interesting pieces. It's just interesting how they will set up. And I think they're going to set up defensively against the USA, hit them on the counterattack. They got players who can hurt there. England, that's going to be a battle. And I think that's one where England have to be scared of because... Yes, England on paper are the better team, but when these British teams go up against each other, anything can happen. And I think against Iran, that's going to be a bit more of a tactical battle to see, all right, are Iran going to play more on the counterattack or Wales going to play more on the counterattack? So I think they're very well set up for this World Cup. And even though they haven't been there for a long time and a lot of these players don't have a lot of experience, they have experience from the last Euros, and that's going to help them a lot.
Yeah, Arpon, what do you think of Wales' chances this time?
Yeah, I think I agree with Michael. That they're very they're perfectly set up for this group. Like they have the best. They probably have the best player in this group, Gareth Bale, because I don't think anyone else can match up to his credentials. And we all know what we all know he turns up in the big games. Champions League final, Copa del Rey final, not the MLS Cup final. Imagine what he does in the World Cup, man. Imagine he scores, man. It'll be crazy, And for Wales, man, I think they're defensively very good. I think they don't concede a lot of goals. And I just think that for Wales in particular, it's really interesting that, their final match day is against England. And by that time, England would probably have already clinched qualifications. So, that game could mean a lot for Wales, and that maybe they can get a point from that game and they can beat maybe Iran, and maybe get a draw against the USA. And 5 points. There you go. So I do think Wales is a team you shouldn't write off upon. And we all know what they did in the Euros as well. Like, remember last Euros, they qualified in the group. They knocked out Turkey. We all know how much hype there was for Turkey in the Euros. And then
last year we got to the final, nearly won it, but that doesn't mean we're going to do well in the World Cup.
I have to say, I remember when people were hyping up Turkey. And I didn't see. Like, obviously, I saw maybe like Wales and maybe Italy, obviously going through, and then obviously Switzerland, Turkey, and all of this. But the thing is with Wales is that they don't have the best squads, but they can produce some magic. And I think Bale, Ramsey, Joe Allen, this is their final potential tournament anyway. I think Aaron Ramsey's definitely going to potentially retire after this World Cup. I think Joe Allen will probably retire after this World Cup. But you've got some good young players coming through. You've got the height difference of obviously Kiefer Moore, who's obviously playing really well for Bournemouth this season. I know Bournemouth haven't had the best season, but Kiefer Moore seems to be scoring some goals at the moment. So they've got players that can really, really hurt you. And I think it's a one-off match. It's a one-off match. We saw in the 2016 Euros where I think Wales got to the semis against Portugal, and they were very, very unlucky to lose that as well. And they actually had England in their group then. And I remember that game. Bale scored an absolute worldie of a free kick. And then Jamie Vardy. Yes, Jamie Vardy and Daniel Sturridge.
But then who went further in that tournament?
Yeah.
I know. I was 21 once. Now I'm 61. I mean, England won the World Cup in 1966. And what you guys are saying, we should be favourites to win this one because we did this then, we did this then. And if you listen to what you're all saying, there's one word that keeps being repeated and repeated and repeated, and that is Bale. And like I say, take him out and you've got an average team. And I say, if he doesn't turn up, and like you said, there's no guarantee he will turn up, then there's nothing to offer.
So you don't rate... Word though, Chris. Wait, you don't rate Brennan Johnson? You don't rate Nico Williams? You don't rate these guys?
No.
Because he played for Forest, that's why.
Goodbye. Sorry, I forgot about that.
What about their goalkeeper? Their goalkeeper's pretty good.
If they're that good, why are Forest bottom of the table? I mean,
Well, that's because they signed a gazillion players and have no structure with their play whatsoever.
Well, but all you guys are saying is like, remember when they got to the semi-finals 8 years ago and when they did this? Because that was 8 years ago. Like I said, we won the World Cup in '66. Doesn't mean we're going to win it this time.
Yeah, Chris, like you say, we're all saying Bale this and Bale that. Any of these teams in this group could bail. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Any team in this group could bail.
Yeah. We'll obviously need to wait and see.
Wait, what Doug. Happens, so Dan, does oh my God, what's his name again? Connor Roberts. Does he play for Burnley? Right?
Yeah.
Is he having a good season?
Yeah. Okay. The hesitance says a little bit different. I mean, he has good games, but he looks like he can't be arsed. It's a bit weird.
Well, maybe he's saving himself for the World Cup.
Potentially. I'm not sure whether he's starting tonight, to be fair. I don't think he is. I've just had a look at the team sheet. I'm not sure.
Interesting. Right. Comments. Albert Cardenas says, I don't know what to expect from Wales. They haven't participated in decades, but they're going to want to put on a show. Nathan says, that's complete rubbish. Wales fully deserve to qualify this time around, and there is no way we are a one-man team. Come on. Anthony's in the chat. Hello. Big up Douglas in the panel. Brazil to win it for me. Bale wants to keep racking up trophies. First was MLS Cup, now the World Cup. I think
that's the stat for you there, Doug. That's the stat for you. The only time he hasn't won anything is when he went back on loan to Spurs.
That's true. That is very, very true. But Spurs keep bottling trophies, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I think Wales will get 2 draws in their first 2 against England, a draw or a 1-0 loss. John Hartson, yes, is Anthony. Evening, actually, I was going to say happy Hammerette, but actually it's evening from unhappy Hammerette. This is bigger than the Champions League for Bale. He will have them far, and to be honest, we have been carrying Bale to these wins based on injuries and Bale's recent form. It's how open this group is that's good for Wales. Hella says I've got Wales and England going through. Hopefully by the time we play Wales, we can rest most of our team. That's a bit disrespectful, though, I think, if you're saying that. Hopefully by the time we play Wales, we can rest most of our team. It'll be interesting anyway. Good evening, Nicola. Hope you're good. Anthony, Leicester Newport hasn't even kicked off yet. I know you're just trying to get some. Vardy was offside, says Nathan. He was onside. Ashley Bonds head at the bottom. Chris, that's not severe support, but they're Bale in big games. BBL has words. Wales qualified for the World Cup. That doesn't happen very often. They're going to show up, all of them. Right, before we do go, I am going to ask all of you for your predicted tables. You will find out my predictions later on next week. So I'll be doing a whole stream. I'll be doing a whole stream predictions from group stage to knockout stage to the final. So you'll see that. And obviously, people will obviously already know that I've already done a group stage prediction. But some of them have changed. I will say that now. Some of them have changed as well. So, Chris, who is your 1 to 4 in this group?
It is probably the hardest group to predict. And what I would have predicted when we did that show before is different. I'm going to go England top, but I'm not utterly convinced with it. America second. I think USA will be second. Iran possibly third. Wales fourth.
Dan?
I'm going to say England finished second in the group. I am torn between whether Iran or Wales top the group and USA finished third.
Ooh, interesting. Arpon?
This is a bit off topic. They have given a verdict on the Ecuador thing, so should we share that real quick, or should we just save that for another time?
Yeah, share if you want to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the court arbitration says that Ecuador will be allowed to play the World Cup. However, they'll begin 2026 World Cup qualifiers with a 3-point deduction and must pay a fine to both Peru and Chile football associations.
Wow.
Unlucky. That's the best meme ever.
So anyways, my group predictions. I have England atop the group. I think they'll get 7 points. I think Iran will come second with 4 points. And then third, I'm going to go with Wales. Also, they get 2 points. And then USA bottom with 1 point.
And Michael.
England, Iran, Wales, the USA. But all I want to say is the USA versus England is the day after Thanksgiving. If we beat England, I want to hear nothing about football. It is only soccer from now on. That's all I want to hear. Because if you allow this USA team to beat this English team who have made it to a World Cup semifinals, the Euros final, do not let that happen. I will be unbearable November 25th. I will be unbearable.
Michael, what if we get a draw?
If we get a draw, it can still be called football. But if we beat them, imagine after all the crap that Christian Pulisic has gotten from Chelsea fans and all the English media. Yes, he hasn't played well at all. I agree with that. But if he scores the winner, English people don't even dare come to my stream. Don't even dare. I will absolutely be unbearable.
Yeah, I think what we're all sort of coming to sort of conclusion that this is a banana skin kind of group for England. Because we've seen in the past, 2010 was like banana skin of a group.
Yeah,
was it like,
and who was in the same group as England? The USA, Algeria, and Slovenia.
Yeah, and
thanks, Rob Green.
Was that Landon Donovan that scored?
Clint Dempsey.
Clint Dempsey.
It was the worst. It was the worst, weakest left-footed shot I've ever seen, and yeah, Rob Green had a howler. Love to see it.
This is your World Cup game, though, isn't it? This is your final when you play England.
Oh yeah, I don't care. I would happily go out of the group as long as we beat England. That's all I care about. so I can have that over the English people. You know what's actually funny? I think the game was on ITV in England. They went to commercial and they didn't even show the goal that England scored during the England-USA game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, Steven Gerrard scored that day. And then I do believe, was it a 0-0 draw with England Algeria, and then
Yep.
I remember that game because that was the infamous game that Wayne Rooney said to the camera, "Your own fans boo you," or something like that. It was, or I think it was maybe something more foul-mouthed than that, but it's 7 o'clock. We've not got them past the watershed. But I do remember, obviously, Slovenia got Jermaine Defoe scored that day as well. So I think
that wasn't even the best moment in that group. The best moment was when the USA scored the winner against Algeria, and Ian Darke has the greatest call ever. If people haven't watched it, go watch it. The USA versus Algeria. Landon Donovan's goal. Oh my God, Ian Darke's call for that goal is fantastic. Oh, commentary at its finest.
Oh, well, there we go. Right, let's see some of your predictions here. So, England should top the group. I expect them to struggle the most against Iran and Wales, says Nicola. Nathan says Wales, England, Iran, USA. Sorry, lads, I think he means the US guys. England, Iran, Wales, and USA, says Matt. Albert is saying USA, England, Iran, and Wales. Nicola's got England, Iran, Wales, USA. Obviously over the Ecuador thing, Albert's going ooh, and then Sebastian's going lol, and then basically unlucky, and then Nicola's going wow. Kate's in the chat. Hey, been silently watching, but I hope everyone's well. I am very well, Kate. Hope you obviously hope Dan and obviously you, Kate, are well, and hopefully Esme, is that right?
Yeah. We're all right now. Just a slight cough, but we're all right.
Good to hear. This is great news for us, says Albert. Soccer, says Nicola. Yeah, soccer. I'm never going to call it that name. You said, Mike. If USC beat England, MLS Premier League. Yeah. Anthony Chris is doing a watch along. He will be doing a watch along to Leicester against Newport. England, Iran, Wales, USA will finish, says Anthony. So -3 for Ecuador. Chile might have a chance for 2026. Most likely bottle it. Yeah, there's a wee good rivalry going on there. England should, in fairness, top the group, but they've been abysmal lately. Still, England, Wales, Iran, USA, and Nicola probably with the comment of the night. I just hope for good football. That's it. And I think that is a very, very good way to end tonight's show. A big, big thank you to my panel. Chris, Leicester Till I Die. Dan from Turfmoor House. Mike from Michael Talks Football, even though he's got Gregg Vibes Berhalter as his name. And Adi, Arpon, very, very good to have you as well. But just before we do go, tell the people where they can find you. Mr. Chris Forian.
As you can see there, Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and at Leicester TID on Twitter.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure to have you, sir, and I'm looking forward to the more collaborations that me and you will be doing over the World Cup as well.
We will.
Dan, thank you very, very much. Tell the people where they can find you.
Everywhere but OnlyFans. Honestly, you can find us literally anywhere and everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
I've seen his pictures.
It's just feet, Chris. Stop getting too excited. However, the fart in the jar is in the post. That said, yeah. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it, all at Turfmoor House. So cheers for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Michael, very, very close to 4K, but where are the people can they find you?
Michael Talks Football, YouTube. If you want to check out every preview of every World Cup group, go check it out on my channel. Done a collab with Isaac, so it was very fun to do that. And I'm just hoping for some good football, and hopefully I can call it Soccer Till I Die after this World Cup group stage. Actually, Chris, that's what you got to call it. Not Leicester Till I Die, Soccer Leicester Till I Die after this World Cup.
If we win the World Cup, I'll do it.
There we go. And
I think I'm safe.
And the newly 1K member, Arpon, thank you very much for coming on. Obviously, your first time on the channel. Tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so excuse me. My YouTube name is 80s44, just like it says here. And my Twitter is arpon.744. So yeah.
Yeah, it has been an absolute pleasure, and thank you to everyone in the chat. I have really appreciated. Tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock, I will be live with the preview of Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. And no, I will not be talking about the Mexico away kit, because quite frankly, that is awful. It is bloody awful.
What? It's fantastic, that jersey. What are you on about? Have you seen the USA kits? I can make that on Canva. That's how bad they are, the kits.
Yeah, the USA kits, basically Nike have not basically done anything good with them.
Oh, they couldn't give a shit. They couldn't give a shit about the USA kits. I didn't even buy them. I got still the one from 2014, and this is so much better.
Yeah, I have to say, but no, thank you very much for watching. I'll be live tomorrow, as I said, with the preview of Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland as well. Yeah, and interestingly enough, that Messi could potentially have his 1,000th game as the World Cup final. That's something to think about. And from all of us here, a very, very good night. Thank you very much for watching. Pleasure.